Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Wednesday, March 4th, 2015, around 7:19 in Belleville, Massachusetts. Still in the mid-40s, but we're going to get cold tonight. Some places in Massachusetts going to get some several inches of snow, maybe 6 inches. But up in the Merrimack Valley, we could get it cold into an inch. Some news to report. It's National Happy Pound Cake Day in the United States, and also Peyton Manning, quarterback of the Denver Broncos, will be returning in 2015. He'll be signing a contract, and he's going to get paid $15 million this season as a pay cut. And also, there's been the report why Jerry Remy's restaurant, bar, and grill on Boylston Street in Boston near Fenway Park closed. The reason why it did, because of from November to April, when the baseball season wasn't being played, it was a ghost town at Jerry Remy's bar and grill, and there were some days where there were only less than 70 customers to come into Jerry Remy's restaurant in Boylston Street. And that's not good to only have 70 customers a day. And they lost big time money. They made a lot of money up during baseball season, but when it wasn't baseball season, they lost tons of money, which is surprisingly because there's a lot of businesses near there, a lot of college kids. But some of the competition at near Jerry Remy's, the restaurants in that area would close Monday and Tuesdays for lunch. But the owners of Jerry Remy says they weren't going to do business like that, because if they closed Monday or Tuesday, they would have lost even more money. And that's about it on that. My third and final video blog subject of the night is about my personality profile. Tonight's personality profile is about one of the most famous Toronto Blue Jays pitchers of all time, and it's steib. Steib was a pitcher for the Blue Jays from 1979 through 1992, and he had another stint in 1998, and he also played for the Chicago White Sox in 1993. Dave was born and grew up in Santa Ana, California, and he played baseball in high school and stuff. And then he played baseball at Southern Illinois University as an outfielder and a pitcher, and he was drafted by the Blue Jays in the 5th round of the 1978 amateur draft for Major League Baseball. He only spent a year and a half in the minor leagues, and he made his Major League debut on June 27th, 1979, and he was a very consistent starter for the Blue Jays for many years. 10 times Dave won 10 or more wins in the season. 9 times he pitched 200 or more innings. He was a workhorse, and he pitched a lot of complete games, and he would go deep into the games, and he led the American League in complete games in 1982 with 19. That's amazing, considering pitchers these days hardly go 9 innings. And three times seasons he had an ERA under 3, which is pretty good. 1985 he won the American League ERA title with a 2.48 ERA, which was pretty good. And he was a 7-time All-Star, and he finished in the top 5 in AL Cy Young voting 2 times, which was pretty good and stuff like that. And Steib was a consistent starting pitcher, was pretty good and stuff. He would give you innings and stuff. That was good, but he wasn't that known as a strikeout pitcher, which that hurt him a lot, and he never won 20 games during the season. And Steib had bad luck 4 times. He carried no hitters into the 9th inning 4 times, but they were broken up within 2 outs or 1 out of a no-hitter. In 1989, he was 1 out away for a perfect game against the New York Yankees, but it was broken up. And that's hard, very hard for him. But in September 2nd, 1990, Steib pitched a no-hitter, and he's the first Blue Jays player and the only Blue Jays pitcher to pitch a no-hitter. And that's pretty good. And Dave Steib was a consistent winner, even though he'd never won 20 games. He was a very consistent winner. He won 140 games in the 1980s, which is second behind Jack Morris. And Dave Steib continued to pitch for the Blue Jays until 1992 when he had an off year, and the Blue Jays released him, and he signed with Chicago White Sox, but the White Sox released him as well in 1993. Then Dave Steib retired from Major League Baseball, but he was talking about making a comeback. The Texas Rangers offered him a tryout, but he flunked that. And then in 1998, at the age of 41, Dave Steib came out of retirement to pitch for the Blue Jays. He pitched decently, but he didn't have what it took, and then he retired for good in 1998. And his career stats are 176, 137, 3.44 ERA, and 1,669 strikeouts. These numbers were not Hall of Fame, and in 2004 he was on the Hall of Fame ballot for the first time, but he got less than 5% of the votes, and he was eliminated for future considerations. I thought Dave Steib was a consistent pitcher in the 1980s. He could have went the distance for you and stuff, and it was he would give you innings and stuff. It was good to have him on a fantasy team if you had him on a fantasy team. And Dave Steib, the biggest knock about him, he was not that big of. He was a decent power pitcher, but he wasn't known for strikeouts and stuff. Didn't think, and he, I think, never had 200 strikeouts, and he never won 20 games in a season, so that's probably what hurt him the most. But he was probably one of the most famous Blue Jays pitchers of all time. I think he holds the record for most wins by a Blue Jays pitcher with 175. And he was honored by the Blue Jays for being in their level of excellence, inducted into that level of excellence, which is around the 400 section of the Rogers Center. And I'm very surprised that the Blue Jays never retired as number 37 yet, but I think they only do that for Hall of Famers and stuff like that. But he's in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. And that's about it on Dave Steib. Well, that's going to be about it for me for tonight for these video blogs. I hope you'll be enjoying them. Facebook friends, YouTube followers, Daily Motion, and Twitter. There's going to be 3 more tomorrow. First video blog tomorrow will be about the WCW Hotline, which was our 900 number from 1989 through 2001. I'll tell you about that. Then I'll tell you about a television character from South Park, Kenny McCormick, who was famous for always getting killed on each and every South Park episode and somehow coming back to life the next one without his death being acknowledged and stuff like that. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about Hockey Hall of Famer and longtime Maple Leafs captain Matt Sundin. And coming soon to these video blogs will be about the Buffalo Brave from NBA team, Bus Route 13 for the LRTA from Lowell Kennedy Center to Burlington, Massachusetts, which is the Billerica bus via Edison Cemetery, and Carlos Delgado and the Nasty Boys and Doug Gilmore. And next week we're going to have March Madness blogs for personality profiles for 7 names for college basketball, which will include Dick Vitale, Billy Lee Packer, Jimmy Valvano, Christian Leitner, Grant Hill, and Al McGuire. The baseball previews are coming in the end of March, and March 14th starts my WrestleMania reviews of each and every WWE WrestleMania card ever. And maybe, just maybe, Julie Platten and Heidi Pratt will be here. Hope you enjoyed this video blog I'm doing right now with the characters and the Rich logo on there. And I'll see you tomorrow, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, and Twitter. Have a good night, friends. Bye now.